and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, WrestleMania weekend is over. Like I said, I would get some reviews up for some of the shows over the weekend. I'm just kind of hitting the bigger shows here. I'm going to have about 7 reviews that I'm doing. Really the only shows I got watched. So we're going to start with Impact Wrestling. We got Impact Wrestling United We Stand. Happened Thursday night. We had 8 matches here. Overall, just a wrestling show. There was nothing special. There was nothing that I felt coming out of this is going to be like, oh my god, I can't wait till this happens. It was just another show. First match, we had an Ultimate X match for the #1 contendership for the X title, which they haven't done in a long time, where you had the X in the middle, and so you're going after the X to get that #1 contendership. We had Jack Krause, part of OVE, versus Dante Fox, versus Pat Buck, versus Kota Brazil, versus supposed to have been Jack Evans, but he was removed and Ace Austin was put in his place. Ace Austin is kind of this up-and-coming, could be something special someday kind of guy, versus Impact Champion, Johnny Impact. I don't know if they added Johnny Impact to this just for the name value, the world champion value, but like I said in my preview, he's winning. And Johnny Impact won, so Johnny Impact is now the #1 contender for the X Division Championship, as he is the current Impact World Champion. Which, obviously, I can kind of tell you what's going to go down from my experience of watching wrestling, what I think is going to happen here. Impact's going to lose at Rebellion to Brian Cage. Impact then will challenge the X Division champion, Rich Swann. Johnny Impact will win the X Division championship. Then Johnny Impact is going to select option C, cashing in the X Division title for a world title shot, and get the world title back. So this will all probably take place right around Bound for Glory. Because I don't know if there's any shows between now and then, big shows, besides Rebellion. So Johnny Impact, #1 contender for the X Division title. Next we had a Team Impact versus Team Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground is pretty much done, but anyway. So we had, representing Team Lucha, we had Aerostar, Daga, Marty the Moth. Representing an Impact, we have Brian Cage, Eddie Edwards, and Moose. It's supposed to be a handicap match. And like I said in the preview, there was going to be somebody that came out for Impact, like a return or a debut. Ended up being Tommy Dreamer, the hardcore legend. Brian Cage ended up, Cage ended up turning on Impact. Moose, one of them two, turned on Team Impact, and then Team Lucha got the victory there. The Ultimate X match I gave 3 3/4 star to. This match here I gave 3 star to. It was really nothing really special. Next up we had the 4-way knockouts title match. We had Rosemary versus champion Taya Valkyrie versus Jordynne Grace versus Katie Forbes. Really thought they were giving the title to Jordynne Grace here. They did not. It was a decent match. Taya Valkyrie ended up retaining her title. I ended up giving it 3 star. Next up, we had Loki returning to Impact Wrestling with his partner Ricky Martinez. Currently, they are part of a faction in MLW versus LAX, the Latin American Exchange. It was nice seeing Loki back in Impact. Hopefully, he does come back, and they need some top of the main event kind of guys. Again, nothing really special. Just a decent match. LAX got the victory. I gave it 3 star. Next up, we had an intergender match, which I don't know if I like these or hate these. Only because when you have like a Tessa Blanchard versus a Joey Ryan, when the intergender matches are happening like this, basically you have a guy beating up a girl. In society today, unfortunately, we have so much of that shouldn't happen. Why do we want to see it in the ring? Because then you're going to have kids watching wrestling, people watching wrestling going, well, Joey Ryan beat up Tessa Blanchard, I can beat up a woman. I don't think we need these straight up intergender matches due to that factor. I know people shouldn't think that way, but people do. They're going to say, well, it's because of pro wrestling, the reason I did it. If you want to have do like the mixed match challenge, you might have a guy and a girl on a team versus the guy and a girl. The girls wrestle the girls, the guys wrestle the guys. Do it that way. This match was it was funky. It was kind of clustery, and I mean, like I said in the preview, I thought Tessa would get the win. She ended up doing it. Joey Ryan is just fucking hilarious sometimes. Him and his goddamn lollipops, and those fuckers come from everywhere. Anyway, Tessa gets the victory. Went ahead and I gave it 3-star. Next up, we had the X Division title on the line. We had champion Rich Swann versus Flamita of Mexibloods. Holy snap. I am a Flamita fan after this weekend, along with Bandito and Dragon Lee. Yeah, this match was good. It was really good. It was probably one of the matches of the night. They just didn't give it that long. It was pretty short. I ended up giving it 3.5. Rich Swann ended up getting a victory. But matches like this, if you give it time, they're going to be even better. So Rich Swann retained. Next up, we had the Monsters Ball match. We had Sami Callihan versus Jimmy Havoc. Callihan ended up getting a victory. It was good. It was just a hardcore match. I gave it 3 3/4. Next up, we had the main event, which was an Extreme Rules. We had the Lucha Brothers, which is Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. versus RVD and Sabu. It's 2018. Do not need to see a old, bloated RVD and the really fucking old hardcore legend and Sabu on my fucking TV. We had Tommy Dreamer, we had RVD, and we have Sabu. This is Impact Wrestling 2019. This is not ECW 1994. So yeah, that was just dumb. Lucha Brothers getting the victory. I gave it 2 3/4. That just kind of brought it. I mean, you don't need to bring these old guys in. I'm sorry. Any wrestling company, you don't need to bring the stars of the 80s and 90s in to get people to pay attention to your product. Put on good product. Show people that, hey, we have, Lucha Brothers versus LAX. Let's do that kind of match here. That's going to be a rebellion. But, or do, something like that. Don't just put garbage on the fucking card and go, here you go, we brought you the legends. Anyway, Impact Wrestling Night, we stay in review. Stay tuned to Rubber Sports Show for some other reviews, along with G1 Supercard, NXT TakeOver, and, of course, WrestleMania. As always, thanks for watching the Rubber Sports Show, and don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Rubber Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports channel content. Impact Wrestling, you've got to bring in new stars. You've got to have main event stars to go with all the mid-card stuff you have. That's just my opinion.